ECM, Standalone Tuner, Tuning Program Structure. The tuning program comprises of 4 parts. Toolbar, a collection of commands in the program. Real-time monitor, a collection of impressions of the parameters of engine sensors. Tuning table, a section for data input. Status bar, interfacing status between computer and ECM. Clear the table, used for clearing the table that opens to the value 0. Open file, used to open the tuning parameters. Save, used to record the tuning parameters. About program, for show details of the program. Menu file. Clear out all data of the opening, tab back to new start. Open the recorded file. Record the tuning parameters. Copy, duplicate the wanted data from mode 1 to mode 2 or vice versa, from mode 2 to mode 1. Transfer the duplicated data to the wanted mode. Send data from opening tab to ECM. Read data from ECM to show on each opening tab. Exit from program. Setup menu. General parameter setup allows you to set various parameters on the performance of the ECM. Oxygen sensor characteristic setup, set the display ratio of the air fuel. Extra setup, set extra parameters. Communication, serial number, set up the connection, and view the serial number. View menu. Show, hide toolbar. Show, hide status bar. Show, hide 3D graphs. Help menu. Update firmware, upgrading the capacity of the firmware of the ECM through the standalone tuner tuning program. About program, show the details of the program. Real-time monitor, a collection of impressions of the parameters of engine sensors. RPM meter, used to measure the rotation of the engine. Air-fuel ratio meter, for measuring the ratio of air to fuel. Throttle position sensor meter, used to measure the position of the throttle opening. Manifold absolute pressure sensor meter, for measurement of pressure, the air in the intake manifold. Engine coolant temperature sensor, used to display the temperature of the coolant or oil temperature. Intake air temperature sensor meter, displays the intake air temperature. Battery meter, used to display the voltage of the battery. Ignition meter, displays the ignition command. Injection meter, displays the duration of the fuel injection. VE meter, shows the command of the fuel injectors. Table meter, shows the command of open tables. The meter shows the operating mode of the ECM. The alert status disorders, engine. The table adjusts ignition degrees. The vertical axis indicates the position of the throttle. The horizontal axis shows the rev of the engine. Table adjusts the fuel injectors on map sensor. The vertical axis represents the values of the pressure map sensor. The horizontal axis shows the rev of the engine. Table adjusts the fuel injectors on TPS sensor. The vertical axis indicates the position of the throttle. The horizontal axis shows the rev of the engine. Table enrichment correction. Apply for compensation-based work environments. Table temperature compensation engine and idle. The temperature of the engine. Ignition correction. Injection correction. Idle control. Compensation table when the outside air changes. The temperature of the engine. Ignition correction. Injection correction. Compensation table when the humidity is changed. Humidity. Ignition correction. Injection correction. Compensation table when the outside air pressure change. Air pressure. Ignition correction. Injection correction. Table increased air volume. Throttle position. Idle control. Air-fuel ratio table. For a table showing the mixing ratio of air to fuel. The vertical axis indicates the position of the throttle. The horizontal axis shows the rev of the engine. Compensation table of the engine, optional. Throttle position sensor setup. Current throttle position. Closed throttle position. Fully open throttle position. Cold start engine. The temperature of the engine. Table set period of time extra fuel injection when the ECM start the engine for the first time. Table for the duration of the fuel injectors in the engine first. Menu setting to warm the engine and idle. The temperature of the engine. Injection correction. Idle control. Lead band oxygen sensor setup. The number of points in the set. Oxygen sensor voltage currents. Air-fuel ratio of the display. The table adjusts fuel injection and ignition degrees, optional. The vertical axis indicates the position of the throttle. The horizontal axis shows the rev of the engine. Data logger. Used for the various functions of the engine sensors, then be displayed later.